everybody, my name is Hannah Adam. So coming up next in our ArtsSlam Canadian Poetry event, we have Festrell, aka Festrell. Festrell is a spoken word artist, freelance writer, and a community organizer from Toronto. Her passions include social justice issues, dancing, books, kittens, who doesn't love kittens, and has a unique sense of humor, which has showcased in one of her pieces, the Star Wars gangster rap. Which
I didn't write that. I got that from the internet.
She does it really well. I watched it. So Festrell has performed at numerous locations all across Canada, especially here in Ottawa, such as being the opening act for the C.R. Avery and the Legal Tender String Quartet show at Ottawa's NAC, and competed against 18 other teams in the Canadian Festival of Spoken Word, both in 2010. Last year, Festrell participated in the Voices of Venus open mic at First Fest. She was both an artist and a host, and performed at the Ottawa Fringe Festival. Many of us here even saw her perform at the first ever Ottawa Women's Slam competition this past January, and she placed in the top 4 and received the opportunity to be featured at the Women Rock the Mic show. I've watched lots of her pieces online. They are really cool. They're hard-hitting truths and in-depth looks at issues that we can all relate to. They ring with passion and conviction, and they will knock you off your seat. So prepare for some powerful word slinging, and let's hear a big round of applause for our next guest, Festrell.
Kate was like, I like your outfit. And I'm like, yes. I like to wear outfits. I was like corduroy and patches. Got like a professor thing going. Even though I'm not a professor. Where are your corduroy and patches? I'm confused. Alright. How could you, she asked me. How could you want to hear my story while you sneer at the curves of these shorelines, these hills and these valleys, weigh these round mounds pound for pound instead of appreciating the bounty that is this beauty? How could you, she asked me. How could you want to hear my story when you let these men come with their fire and their metal, with their hungry shovels, calling each dark spot barbaric blemish, a savage scar, while they dig deep and dig deeper, taking forcefully what is mine to gently give what is mine, become their minds, to fill the desires of empires. How could you, she asked me. How could you want to hear my story when these burnished bronze villages and cities of melanin be coated in the cream of their crop, till only pale husks remain, a testament to the shame attached to those of darker frames, until my very loved ones see me as unnatural, stained? How could you, she asked me. I am your mother. That stoop on your back they compare to a monkey's slouch was actually a sign of that loving gaze towards the rice fields that your ancestors harvested. You got that from me. That flat nose on your round visage that they compare to a monkey's face was actually a sign of nobility that your ancestors treasured. You got that from me. And those slanted eyes that they compare to a monkey's shifty squint was actually a sign of that loving gaze towards the suns and stars that your ancestors revered. You got that from me. So how could you, she asked me. I am your mother, torn from my embrace by the jaws of civil strife and corruption, given into the arms of another, raised on a tongue that your ancestors have never spoke, on a history that your ancestors were never a part of, on standards of beauty that made your ancestors something to be ashamed of. How could you, she asked me. I am your mother. I am the harlot, the pearl of the Orient, the eight-bright sun of 3 stars, the land of 7,000 islands, but you know me by the name of a Spanish king who has never even seen my shores. I am your mother of the Philippines, and you turned your back to me, forgot my face, my voice, my story. Why didn't you come and stop them from taking and breaking and enslaving me until there was nothing left where America raised bloody-minded corrupt aristocracy masquerading as democracy? But how could you? She asked me. You weren't even born then. To see revolution after revolution, how I kept standing up even when they beat me down, even when they took everything from me. I wasn't bad because I knew my suns and stars were spread across the globe, making the world their oyster and their home. So how could you, she asked me. Could you want to hear my stories if you don't already know, as if you've never been raped, segregated, manipulated, conquered, and brought low, only to rise again and again, creating a community of loved ones and allies in places as distant as this red maple leaf in Turtle Island, to build a community and a future that your ancestors and your descendants would be proud of. So how could you, she asked me. How could could you want to hear my story as if you don't already know that I am your mother and my story is your own?